Guys, what is up? It is Wednesday. How are we doing today? Let's sit here and let's talk for a bit. Now, the reason I'm on this screen today, as opposed to any other screen that we're going to jump into later. Fresh and says Easter High. Brig Briz with 5 bits. Thank you very much. Mud Turtle, hello, hello. Guys, I also have right here the chat box. Yes, because right now I know we have a lot of cool things that just came out today, the Easter hype and all that fun stuff, but I want to legitimately talk about all the concerns. Rocket Tsar, hello, hello. Is Cassilia? I really hope I'm pronouncing that. Is Cassilia, or is it just like Cassilia in the... Oh, Lightseekers. No, it's LS, not IS. Lightseekers Cassilia. Thank you very much. Hello, welcome to the show. I want to be able to talk about a lot of the things that the concerns that are coming up with a lot of the other content creators, and I completely agree with them. Filthy Phil, hello, hello. If you haven't checked them out yet, Lurker 300 and Testament from the Umbran House have both put out amazing short YouTube videos. Not short, they're like 30 minutes long. And I highly encourage you guys to go listen to them, give them feedback on the YouTube videos. They're great for just voicing the concerns that everyone has been having lately. Filthy Frank, I mean, we're all pretty filthy here, Mud Turtle. Even you. You're the muddiest of us all. But the thing is, like, I agree with all, like, everything they said. And one thing I will just start out with this preface. I will say this. When Testament said that he was getting very frustrated with streamers and content creators and everyone on the stream being the glass half full type of person trying to defend Playfusion, I will go ahead and admit, lately I have been one of those people, and I do apologize to him and to anyone else that is getting frustrated with me doing that. That is my own personal taste. I did not mean any offense to anyone else like that. I didn't mean to get on anyone's nerves. Just a short tidbit, I do have a long history of depression, and how I deal with that is I always try and just think positively. So I try to just, I try to be a glass half full type of person so that I don't go back into that spiral. I've had a bad past, and I'm trying to always be positive so I don't spiral back into that. That's just me, and I've done that for as long as I can remember now. So I do apologize that if I come off that way. I am sorry. Sometimes I do need a kick in the butt to remind me, hey, you don't have to be positive all the time. There is such a thing as constructive criticism. And I've been saying that a lot. I've been saying, guys, constructive criticism, that's how we get the game going. And then I am terrible at giving my own advice. And I have a cat locked in this room with me, so I might have to let her out in just a second. Yeah, actually, give me 1 sec. She started to crawl out the door. So 1 sec, guys. Sorry about this. All right, back to it. I'm sorry, guys. Cat was like, you trapped me in here while you're streaming, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. That's how I pronounce it. Awesome. Good to see. It's kind of like the Lightseekers card. I think it's Cassilia is the nature hero, as far as I'm correct. But yeah, I just want to foremost, like, right away apologize if I have come off like that. I know that I am Shibes. Hello. I try to stream on a regular basis, 3 days a week. I have a permanent schedule. I try to promote the game as much as I can because I do love the game. I do love Playfusion. They've been amazing. I've been even playing Warhammer, their other game, because I want to keep going with Playfusion. So I do want to state for the record that I don't mean to come off as like a Playfusion groupie or anything like that. I love the games. I've played card games for like 20 plus years now. Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! I dabbled in Pokemon a little bit, more collecting than anything really playing. Hearthstone, I played the Dragon Ball Z card game. I dabbled in the Star Wars card game when that was out. Like, I've played card games forever, and Playfusion, like, I really like Playfusion. I started streaming because their game was new. It came out in digital, and it's what really got me into streaming in the first place, as opposed to just playing other card games. So I, just in that mentality, I'm like, yeah, I really like this community that they've built, the game that they've built. And that's why I just kind of went to Warhammer, because I did want to stick with them. They're great people over there. I'm not saying they're bad. They're amazing people. But they do have their flaws. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk with you guys about is all the stuff that has been coming on the rise with videos that have been coming out, with all the concerns that have been coming out. Like I said, Testament and Lurker put out some amazing videos. Highly recommend go checking them out. I should have had their videos open so I could just quick copy and paste links to them. If anyone can find their videos and post them in chat, I know when I upload this to YouTube, I will have links to their YouTube videos as well, and you can go check them out, or even just their channels, and you guys can go check them out as well, because I do want to support as many people that stream, that make content, because that's what the community is, and if you don't get your voice heard, I want to help make everyone heard, because we are all of one voice. There's not one person better or worse. We are here together. With that being said, I did watch both the videos like 2 or 3 times. I even took notes. I have notes right here in front of me to read of all the stuff that I agree with. Tetra, hey man. I thought Lurker was going to be talking about... I mean, I'm sure he is. I'm sure... what time is he going live? Do you know? From what I understand, he was going to the local game store, and then he was going to stream. I thought he said like 10 o'clock tonight is when he was going to stream. And more discussion is good. There's no wrong time for discussions. Is that all the Discord? I mean, well, I'm giving my own opinion too. I'm voicing my, like, I have notes so I don't repeat what they said. I'm giving credit to them as well. I don't mean to rub anyone the wrong way. This is what's the main topic right now, so... There's no drama. Okay. I didn't mean to cause anything. I wanted to voice, like I said, everyone's opinion. Tetra and Lurker put out some amazing videos. I wanted to talk about it as well. Okay. Okay. I will continue. Thank you, Is the Embers, is Cecilia. Tetra, I'm still planning on tuning in to Lurkers and talking with him as well as much as I can before I go to sleep. I hope to hear more about his opinions as well. I sent him a message today. He even said he sent an email to Playfusion with like 15 plus questions, so I hope he talks more about them on his stream and can give more insight on his also opinion. So please, everyone, tune into him as well later today when he goes live. But he made some amazing points. His points that he made in his video, and like I said, I hope you are all able to watch it, is, I mean, just a few of them, because like I said, I took notes. Self-distribution issues. He had a major concern with that he wanted to talk about, and it was most like, it is a big concern, because if they're doing self-distribution, that means that they have time to make the game, do all the developing and all that stuff, and distribute it by themselves, which to him, and from what he said, let's hear what's up. From what he said is, it makes a good point, is if they can do all of that, does that mean that they have enough time to then continue making other sets? Does that mean that the local game stores, now that they're going to direct distribution and like going to Amazon and more digital, what's going to happen to the local game stores? Like that's where their physical community was going, is the local game stores. And from what I understand, it's been mostly up to us to go into the stores and try and help just push the game on our own. And then once we talk to the stores, we call the marketing, the U.S. marketing person. I'm not sure who we have in my area, who uses who, so I'm not going to go ahead and say names because there's probably several of them. But then we call them in and they help push the game and they start doing like demos and all that stuff along with us. I know Cecilia is like, you're based in, oh god, I don't want to say Ohio. But she's doing amazing stuff over at her local game store. She's holding a gold event. Sadly, it's like really close to when the U.S. Nationals is, and I mean, Ohio. I was right. Okay, cool. Yes, say Ohio. She's doing amazing stuff over there. She's promoting the game. She's growing the community. She just had was it a silver tier event or a gold tier event that you had a little bit ago that Shibes took first? But then you're having a gold one coming up soon that I know a lot of people are really excited for. But yeah, because of that, if most of the distribution is going direct distribution and going to like Amazon and all that stuff, what does that mean for local game stores? Are they going to be able to get a discounted price if they buy in bulk to then sell it like at a competitive price to online? How does the growth of a local game store, Silver Tier and Weekly local LP, learn to play this weekend? Awesome. Yeah, like Cecilia is doing amazing. She is pumping out that community over there, growing it at an advanced rate that, personally, I don't think anyone can even compare about the way her community is growing to anyone else that is doing theirs. It may just because they don't post it as much, but I know Cecilia has been on top of this like non-stop. She's doing some amazing work out there in Ohio, and if I lived in Ohio or it wasn't like a 9-hour drive, I would definitely try and come out at least once or something like that to see it and get to know you and at least shake your hand and say great job, because you do deserve a lot of credit. You've been putting up some amazing stuff in there. But yeah, Lurker had a really good concern about what the physical play base is going to look like with their distribution change like they are, because of it going almost completely digital. And I know a lot of people out here, just from my Amazon or the Twitch Prime subs, that a lot of people have Amazon Prime. So I don't know what that means for the local game store, if everyone's going to be able to maybe even find a discounted price on Amazon comparative to their local game store. He was comparing that the fact that the game has also been stale for 11 months or just hasn't been able to move product because we haven't had a new set, and that the distributors are having so much bulk product that stores are even trying to sell to other stores to just get it out of their stock so they can bring other stuff in. And because of that, the chances of other LGSs wanting to repick that game back up is going to be really difficult, because they looked at it and were like, well, we've literally had to sell our other product to anyone we could, even at discounted prices, to like get it out, because people already had all the cards they didn't want anymore, and why would we continue bringing stuff in? So that was a very good point on their end, and I think that's a really good concern to have with the whole distribution issue that they addressed us with, because that was a huge delay back in January and probably even in 2018, is that it wasn't out on time because of distribution issues. And now they decided to go with themselves, and not just the issues with the distributors and the stores and all that stuff, is literally if they're doing everything themselves, if they're making the cards, they're distributing it, I don't know if they're even printing it too, I don't know what's happening over there, is how do they have all the time to do all this and still continue making new sets? If they have all the free time in the world to do everything by themselves, does that mean the game is not growing as fast as they wanted it to? Does that mean the game is also going to keep growing at the pace that they want it to, as opposed to all the other card games that are like every 3 to 4 months we have a new set drop, we have card rotations, all this stuff to make the game not feel so stale. So that's a really big concern, and I think it's a really good point that he made there on his video. Another one that he also made is the fact that they lumped the core box, the Rift packs, the new ones, and the set all into one. Now, I know, like I said on my stream, I was glass half full, because I was like, yeah, think about how many new different types when we draft it. There's a huge card pool to have. And that's just what I thought, because I was like, yeah, it could be better for drafting. Why not? And like I said, that was me being glass half full. But on the other side, he makes another valid point, that putting it all into one set like this, they had a really good timeline. They had a really good timeline spanned out to put the 130 cards out. Then, like in a few months or so, put the core box out. Say, hey, these cards are coming back into circulation. Buy these cards for the reprints. Then maybe like in between there, or at some time during, put the Rift packs out, so we have more cards to keep buying and keep advancing our decks. Where all they said was, we're putting it all into one, and we're having it all one set. They didn't say why they were doing it. They didn't say whether it was better for distribution. They didn't say it's because we've been bogged up and we wanted to make sure all the cards got out on time, and we didn't want more delays or more of a backup. We don't know what it was. All we know is that they decided to combine all 3 sets into one. And that is another good concern, because that once again means, okay, if all 3 sets are coming out at once, does that mean that you are currently working on your next sets? Does that mean that your next sets are also going to be ready to come out, or are we going to once again have to wait a full year for more cards? Like, what is happening over there? Because if they crammed everything in one set and they don't have those 2 sets that they legitimately know they had printed and ready for distribution, to kind of span it out and like sprinkle it along the way to make sure we don't have another stagnant issue like this, are we going to get another 10 to 11 months where they're like, yeah, sorry, we put all this stuff out at once for you guys to have because it's what we wanted, and yes, it's what we wanted, but don't give it to us all at once if you're not prepared to keep that flow of cards coming, right? So I thought that was another great issue. And you can kind of see that trend too. And I once again, I hope I'm not coming off as extremely negative. This is all constructive criticism. This is all positive wording feedback for them to hopefully take notes and be like, okay, they make really good concerns. Nothing is meant in a negative way. But we've been seeing that a lot in the digital app too, where the digital app didn't change for like 4 or 5 months, and then we got a huge errata dump. And the reasoning for the errata dump is they realized it was just easier to do some of the erratas that will eventually get printed later. But to do that rather than recode a whole thing of like which ones are limited to 1, which ones are banned and all that stuff, because it would be a whole new coding process. And to me, that kind of made sense from a coding aspect and a game design aspect. I understood where they were coming from there, but outside of that, there weren't a whole lot of changes to the digital game, which made it feel really stagnant. And it's just kind of like, well, we don't want another stagnant issue like that. We want things to sprinkle in. And then they gave us this thing where we have adventure mode, we have draft mode, we have joysticks comment, all this stuff being thrown at us on early May. I wanted to say, yeah, early May. And and Lurker even said, I hope it's the first. That way the season rotates over real properly. We don't have that like week to 2 weeks where it's still the old cards and then halfway through the season they switch over to the new set and everything's all hunky-dory. I am totally with him on that. I hope it's the first. If it's not the first, it's going to be a whole haywire mess of things. So I do hope that it is the first, as in like the earliest of May, so that we have this issue. But I've always been saying this when it comes to their digital content, is that I do wish that they would give us things like maybe 1 or 2 new things a month, rather than like, hey, here's 50 new things that we've been working on for the past 6 months. This is what we've been doing. That's way too much content to dump on us after all of us saying, guys, the game is stale, people are leaving, all this stuff. We want new content. And if it's even just a few digital erratas, be like, hey, you know, this deck is broken, there's some concerned cards. Sure, like errata some of those cards, that's fine. Every once in a while, not like 50 cards all at once, because that changes the game drastically. And you won't even be able to see like, okay, these are all the concerned cards, let's change all of them at once. And then like there's a whole new set of problems. You're like, okay, maybe some of these cards weren't errated properly. Go back and redo them. And it's a whole new mess. I would just rather have it kind of like constantly sprinkled in, rather than everything at once 6 months later, and then we have another 6 months where we're just voicing our concerns again. And they have to do all of these changes all at once. I would have rather just had it be like, hey guys, we worked on draft mode like 2-3 months ago. Dale says, so if they had this stuff done, I personally would have had it be like, hey, we have draft mode up now, and then like 2 months later, hey, we have adventure mode now. Dells might be able to shed some light on the digital side. Whatever you can tell us, Dells, we're here. I know that you are an employee of Playfusion. You are under an NDA, so I don't know how much you can tell us. But light shed would be good. You can drop it in as I keep talking. That'd be great, and I'll read it once I see it. But that's one of the things that it just felt kind of like because all this stuff came out all at once. I don't know if that's because several teams were working on them all at once and they all just got finished at the same time, or how Playfusion works. There's a whole lot of answers that we don't know. I even tried when I got home to look at the Playfusion website to see like the amount of people that are on each team and all this stuff to kind of get a gist of how many people work there and just the numbers of the people. Dell says, now we are on console Switch. Released must go through Nintendo approval. Okay, so for like legitimately everything, now that you're on Switch, everything you do has to go through Nintendo approval. We used to be able to push freely. Oh, okay. Okay. That's good to know. I will give this as another constructive criticism. That's a piece of information that everyone probably wanted to know, and thus should be put on the either news page or the Discord or the Facebook or somewhere, as to why we're getting all of this at once. I think that would have been a great piece of information to include in that the newsletter. I know you're a programmer, you're a coder, you're not a person who does the community marketing, but yeah, something like that is definitely news that we would have wanted to know as to why it took so long or why you're deciding to do it all at once. Is because now that you're on the Switch, everything needs Nintendo approval, and it's probably just easier to have it all at once and give it all to Nintendo. Be like, hey, this is everything we want to do. Now it's all done. Can you say yes, and we'll put it all through, as opposed to like going to them weekly or monthly and hoping for them approvals. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Yeah, that helps now that we know that. And that kind of also goes to another thing that I want to mention just on my own is, and I'm sure actually I think a lot of people, I think Lurker and Testament mentioned it too, and I'll kind of mention it in my own words. We have many platforms currently: Switch, iOS, Android, Amazon, Steam, Mac. Yeah, I mean, you guys have a lot that all play the same game, so that you have to get them all approved at the same time. So you probably just want to do a huge dump. That makes sense. But it's the one thing that a lot of people have been saying is their communication problems. We ask them questions, and we don't necessarily get like we can't give you this information at the time, or like this is what we can give you based on this question. That a lot of times we feel like we've been ghosted. We ask them a question, and it does take, I know there's only 2 people over there, it does take almost several hours to get feedback from them or to hear something, or even like we'll give you an answer Friday, and that's fine. But the one thing that they consistently don't do when we ask them this is give us the why. It's like, hey, we'll give this to you Friday. Why are you giving it Friday? Is it like because we have to talk to the team, we have to get an approval, we'll set a date for this date, so be looking forward to the news later in the week. Just give us something a reason as to why it's taking so long or why this took so long. It's the reasoning that I think a lot of us, me included, is just starting to get a little frustrated with. Is because they'll tell us an answer, but they won't tell us like the backstory to that answer, whether it's good or bad. I think it's just the lack of information is what we're mostly getting upset with. Because in my opinion, what I took away from this is way back in January, December sometime, they said there was a delay because of distribution issues, and we all just kind of went, okay, what's happening with distribution? And they couldn't tell us whether it was an NDA or whether it's like, we're working on it right now, disclose information, we'll get you this answer when we come, something like that, to just let us know, like, hey, you've heard us, you are being noticed, but we can't tell you at this time because things are still in the works, rather than just ghosting us. I think that would have been a better response. And now we have it where they're like, hey, the distribution didn't work, so we're doing our own distribution. Now that you're doing that, you still have not given us an answer as to what the problem was. We all know it was probably negative. We all know it's like, whatever it was. Like me personally, I just want to know what the problem was. And you've solved the answer. You've decided to go self-distribution. You've done this, but you never went back to that question 4 months ago of what's the distribution issue. And it can be negative, it can be positive, however you want to say it. It can literally just be the distributors, because of the delay in game, didn't want to carry it, so we had to find someone willing to do it. We couldn't find anyone, so we're doing it ourselves. It could literally just be that bad, where it's like we couldn't find anyone, that's why we're doing it ourselves. And at least we would go, oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, it is bad news, but we would have an answer, and we wouldn't be sitting here with few knowledge making speculations as to why this is all happening. We would have answers. And I think that's what most of us really want, is just answers to a lot of these questions. And the lack of communication is really hurting. And whether that means that Jade and Lee, they need to hire a third person to help them. I know a lot of times when I sent Jade emails, I haven't gotten an email. It might just be the time lag and whatnot or not. But I try to send her emails right away in the morning for me, so it's mid-afternoon for her. And sometimes I have to send her 2 or 3. And I know she gets bogged down. Like I said, there's only 2 people in the community center. So just resend them emails. It's okay. Just be polite about it. But Testament, he does YouTube videos. They asked for all the content creators like almost 2-3 weeks in advance to submit their applications or whatever. It's like, hey, this is what we do. These are the dates we stream or whatnot, what have you. And, if you want to help, also no responses, a lot of time considered wild accusations. It might not be true. This is only reckoning from voice. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Without answers, we're just left to speculation and to kind of guess on our own and be like, well, what if it's this? Well, what if it's this? I bet it's this, and all this stuff. And then it could be none of it. It could actually be what we thought. We don't know without an answer. You're exactly right, Cecilia. Where was I with my point? Oh, Lord. I was talking about something. I read chat. It happens. The responses, yes. Like I didn't get one for almost a day from Jaden Watt and Testament. Like that's what I was. I was with Testament. Testament is a YouTuber. Testament said a week in advance that he posted like, "Hey, I'd like to get the cards advanced so I can do a YouTube skit," and didn't get them until less than 24 hours before he was supposed to reveal it. And I feel that as a community person, a better way to handle that is it's literally like if you're supposed to be taking care of who's doing reveal streams, make sure that is like your top priority so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen, because your community is who you're giving these cards to reveal to and they're going to help you hype the game up. And if you put them on the back burner and say, "Hey, we really want you to help hype the game up," you have 12 hours, go. It's like, but you asked us like 2 weeks in advance to come help you, and we said like probably a lot of us, if not all of us, were 24 hours right away to be like, "Hey, we're there. We'll help you hype this game up. It's been so long. We're ready for card reveals." And he said he's a YouTuber. He wants them to be able to make a skit. He does some amazing stuff, probably some of the best I've seen on here that everyone has seen. Like I don't think there's a hand lowered in the house when I'm like, have you guys been to the Umbren house? And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, dude, it's amazing." He puts out some amazing content. And the fact that he was kind of shafted like that really, really hurt not just his confidence, but everyone's confidence in the community management stuff. And I'm not trying to shun Jade or Lee or any of those guys. Like they have a lot on their plate. Like I've said, I'm trying to be constructive criticism here. They have a lot on their plate. They're doing a lot over there. I've been staying up to date with their Twitter, with their Facebook, all the stuff that they're promoting. They're also promoting Warhammers. They have 2 games they're doing. And because of that, that's why I'm like, maybe they need a third person, or maybe they need to divvy out the load or make a task list of like, "Hey, I put out the thing for all the content creators. This is what I'm doing. I'm making sure this gets done." And when you respond to them and they ask you stuff like that, explain to them either like, "Hey, this is when you'll get your cards. This is when I can release them to you." Or if they are a YouTuber, make a mock-up of an NDA that says, "Hey, we'll give them to you like a week in advance as long as you don't reveal them early," or anything like that. Just give them like a small NDA that says, "Don't talk about these with anyone until the reveal day." And you can do whatever you want. You can make a YouTube video, put it out, do your thing, because you're a content creator. You're supposed to be doing your thing. That would have been better. Instead, like I said, he got the cards, less than 24 hours before he was supposed to do anything? And for a YouTuber, that's really hard. I know I got my cards the morning of the day. Like I was at work and they sent me an email. So I'm sitting here like at work on my phone looking at the cards, trying to think of things to talk about. And I'm at work. I'm supposed to be doing work. And I want this to be my job. I want this to be my work. But if I'm at work, I cannot put my 100% value into doing the cards justice. I can't sit there and really focus and really think of all the stuff that I want to say about the cards if I have less than 24 hours. And that did kind of upset me. But once again, I tried to twist it and make it a positive thing, like I tend to do. We need racer play. I would put other people way above me, Dells. There are other voices out there with a lot of concerns that have been voiced them better. I mean, I'll put my resume and application in, sure, but I do think there are other qualified people that you shouldn't just say that. I do think Testament was the voice who made us all speak up today, that he should be the level-headed person to almost directly communicate with them. I know he's got a lot of time, so maybe he doesn't want to do that, but yeah, the Vark dude on Discord, he has awesome ideas. Yeah, Vark's got some awesome ideas. He's also a student in game design, so I mean, just like an internship. I know you guys are basically based out in the UK, but have you guys thought about just having like a community manager in the US? Because I know a lot of the times in the US when we voice our concerns, a lot of them is they're voiced when you guys are off office hours. So they're voiced, and they'll get back to you in the morning, and it's like, yeah, but the discussion is going on right now, and then they have like a huge pile up. So maybe they do need like 2 people in the UK and then like 2 people in the US. So they have 24-hour community service, like not community service, community supporter people who can respond to these, who can get in touch with some of these people. I know a lot of them are like they're asking higher up questions, and we have to verify from that. But a lot of this stuff, I know people have lives. You're not going to want to do this 24/7. That's why I'm saying spread the load out. Spread the load between US and UK. The game is very popular in the US. We are very widespread in our time zones. A lot of them are like 6 to 8 hour differences from the UK. So the communication with the US and UK, it's kind of difficult unless you're like, yeah, I'm up at 6 in the morning. I can ask my questions and go for that. No, yeah, Testament. I mean, if Testament was up for the role and he could do it, Testament would be an awesome community manager. I highly think that he'd be great at it. Does amazing YouTube content. Is a super positive person. The one time I met him personally, I walked into the store. He was the very first person to turn around and say, "Hey, Razor Grass Shoe." Came up, gave me a handshake, gave me a hug. Like, I cannot speak more highly of the dude. He's amazing. He's always a positive influence. He was having a blast at the tournament. Took second place. He's an amazing card player too. Like, I can't speak highly enough of the dude. I feel bad and I want his voice to be heard. Like I said, I brought him on the show. I talked to them. It was a great interview with Mud Turtle as well. I got both their insights. It was awesome. I highly encourage anyone that can just meet the guy, sign his playmat, give him a handshake, say, "Dude, you're doing an amazing job." He's done nothing wrong. He was actually afraid that his content was going to like burn bridges and all that stuff. No, you had legitimate concerns to voice. You were the only one brave enough to step up and voice them. So, dude, like, Thunderfin salute to you 100 times over, Testament, because you are Spartacus, and all of us standing up behind you claim we are Spartacus, but we all know that you are the real Spartacus in this situation. But yeah, I mean, I've gone over like 2 things, and I have an entire list here. Actually, maybe I went over a bunch of lurkers as I kind of went to one rap. Exactly. It's best to get it out in the open. And not out in the open in a negative way, in a constructive criticism way. Everything I'm saying is not meant to be like thrown as trash or anything like that. Everything that I'm saying and everything that everyone else is saying that I'm just repeating is legitimately like, hey, guys, these are our concerns. We've been having them for a while. Maybe we need to make, instead of just typing it, maybe we need to make a video. Maybe we need to say it over camera. Because a lot of people tend to watch videos and just listen to them rather than try to read them and all that stuff. I have no problem voicing my Mud Turtle. Get on camera, man. We want to hear you. And yeah, I mean, on to Testament's points. He said he doesn't constantly want yes men. So once again, I do apologize for. I will take blame for my responsibility on being 9:30 should jump on stream. Awesome. Yeah, I think we only have like a half hour stream time over. So like, I'll probably even stop at 9:30 and go host your lurker because I want to hear your opinions on it too. So don't worry, man. I thought I heard you were going to be on late, but yeah, lurker 300 is on right now. Everyone, he's going to be streaming at 9:30 tonight. I will host him almost right immediately when he gets on, so you will not miss a beat. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on this, man. You put out an amazing video, and I think it needs to be heard. Everyone's voice needs to be heard on this. So, trying to think here. What have I? Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I don't know how much longer I break. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for sticking in. I hope what I'm saying is does your video justice. Talk about it if you will. But yeah, you brought up some amazing points, which I have actually just previously covered. So early May, you will see it. You will see that we are totally committed to Lightseekers, and I'm sure community will be on the case tomorrow trying to improve the comms issues. I do hope that's the case, Dells. And once again, this is another thing where we're voicing our concerns in the U.S. at this time when all the UK players are not at work or are asleep, and we don't get answers till tomorrow. This would also help having a U.S. community manager over here in our time zones to be able to answer some of these questions for us. So I do think that is a good step forward to know. Been on like a minute holding phone in my ear. Playing cat. Very nice. Very nice. But yeah, I do think I mean, it doesn't need to even be like anything special. Just a community manager, someone who has the time to, and I guess more authority to voice these concerns, have a list of like, hey, this is what you can't tell, but this is what you can tell, and all this stuff. Because I know, like I said, a lot of the higher ups we'd have to get a lot of the question or the answers from, and they're not going to be awake at midnight when we have them when we're talking to the U.S. But just having someone on the U.S. side to be able to answer some of these questions would be a great step forward for them. Let's see, they're worried about the distribution issues, which I covered. Testament gave a great concern about the. No, yeah, it really is. Communication is number one important. And like I said, I think a lot of these concerns are finally coming to the surface because of the lack of communication, because of the lack of them answering a lot of our questions. And I know a lot of it's hidden behind NDAs. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if they're ghosting us rather than saying, We will get you an answer when we can at this time. Right now, this is what we can tell you. Due to certain circumstances, it can be kind of like that. But the ghosting and the extreme vagueness, I think, is a huge concern that we're all having about their communication issues. So I do hope that is something that they talk about tomorrow, bright and early in the morning, and can discuss. Because I do think that needs to be fixed tomorrow, or like at least this week sometime. But Testament had a great concern about their marketing strategies, their promotion stuff. When I think when Kindred came out, we got a lot of really cool images, high res stuff like that, to use to help promote stuff, to make banners with and all that stuff. And now Uprising has come out, the stuff that we are trying to promote, and we have not gotten a single piece of like art to use or anything Uprising wise, except for like maybe their banner, but it's somewhat low quality. And if we're supposed to be helping promote this as much as we are, because the one person who travels to all the stores in a certain area cannot hit all the stores, they are leaving it up to us, and we are doing the best that we can with what we've got. But if they are trying to promote a new set of Uprising, and we have nothing, no art to show for it other than bring our phone up and be like, hey, this is what they posted on their Facebook banner, or these are the cards they've been putting online. What do you think? And like we don't have like, yeah, we can hang this banner up here, we can do all this stuff for promotional series. Even the streamers and YouTube content creators, they have no giant images, like high res images to use in YouTube videos, in streaming backgrounds, any of this stuff that would definitely go a long way in marketing or helping promote for digital content, for anything like that. So I do hope that sooner rather than later they release high res images. I think they just hired a new what was the Steven? I don't know his official job title. Shibes gifted a tier 1 sub to Casilia. Thank you very much, Shibes. Thunderfin salutes. Casilia, welcome to the Thunderfin army. Yeah, they just hired a new guy named Steven, and it's lost in general now. I wish that they actually put it in news. I wish they would have actually put it in the news so that we could go and look what his new title is and all that stuff without having to be like, Steven, what do you do again? Because I admit I already forgot. I don't have a very good memory on that stuff. But we even asked him. It's like, yeah, awesome to see what you'll get for these high res stuff. And he even said, I don't even have access to them yet. So it's like, you're one of the marketing people, but you don't have the tools to market. So how do we do anything? It's just one of those things. It's like, give us tools if you want to help us promote this. If you want to help us market it, give us the tools to help us. All it is art assets. It could even be the stuff of the cards we revealed. Like, hey, these are the ones we revealed already. Here's some blown up images of the ones that like a lot of people have been getting excited about. Or if you even have like, hey, I really like this card. I want to do something with the background. Can I get this in a high res image? Sure, just sign like I won't sell this image or do anything with it. Like I'll simply use it for promotional purposes. And like, yeah, you can go ahead and have the image. Like I don't know what legality all has to do with their artwork to make sure that someone doesn't like print it on posters and start selling it as their own. I don't know that kind of stuff. But give us something to be able to communicate and be like, hey, we'd really love this art asset for something to just use in some content. Is that okay? Yeah, awesome. I bet they would love to do that. But we have yet to see anything from Uprising, and like that's another concern, that if we don't have stuff to market it with, stuff to promote it, how are we supposed to help you when you're constantly like, yeah, go out to your local game stores, promote it as well? How are we supposed to do that without those tools? Another thing he commented on is just because the fact that we are excited, me, everyone here on stream, everyone in Discord, does not mean the game is growing. Pacer Custom 1, welcome. He said the community. I looked on Discord. I think there's like 400, close to 500 people on Discord. But if you actually like pay attention to who's chatting, there's maybe like 30 to 40 tops consistent people talking, and it's everyone here. It's everyone here, and plus some other people who can't tune in right now. So that huge number means that those are people that have joined the Discord who have started playing. But if they're not talking, participating in any of that stuff, that doesn't mean that they stuck around. It just means they either forgot to leave Discord or they've got nothing to talk about because the game has been so stagnant. So yes, we are getting hype. We are building hype for this game. The cards are coming out. We're doing awesome. They've been finding a lot of content creators. But that's not a real basis of the player base, which then goes into his next one, that he said that it would be really nice to show the player base numbers. He said that Magic the Gathering does it. I'm sure they do. I'm pretty sure Hearthstone does something like this, where it'll show the community of like, hey, this is how many digital players we have, and like this was the month before. This is our growth rate. This is our decline rate. Something like that to just give us something to look at for more information. And this goes way back into what I said before: is the lack of information they're giving us is really where a lot of our concerns are coming, is because we don't know anything. And a lot of my preface, you go back and watch my Twitch videos, you go back and watch anyone's videos, a lot of the stuff that we'll keep saying is, but I don't know. But we don't know. It's the preface of don't know, because we don't know anything. Whether it's just because they ghosted us or it's because the NDA is behind it. And if there's an NDA behind it, at least we know that, right? At least that's a piece of information that we know. Well, ghosting us means that you're just not telling us anything. It could be an NDA. It could just be like, oh, sorry, I missed the message. I'll get back to you. It could be that. Or it could be like, well, we don't want to give out bad press. There's no such thing as bad press. If you're trusting your community to help you build this game, trust us to know, hey, like the game, it's had some down slumps. We've voiced our concerns. There's having some down slumps in this game for going on 11 months before the next physical releases. There have been slumps. We all know that. Just give us the information before we all start speculating and do kind of go into a mob mentality. I know we've breached that a few times on Discord, that we've all just really started being super upset on Discord, and I'm sure other groups have had it as well. But like that's kind of where that comes from, is the lack of information, where all this gets stirred up and we don't have answers to anything. We're just all asking questions and getting into an angry rage, which I don't blame anyone on. I mean, without information, it's how this kind of stuff starts. It's like a Cold War, right? It's us against, I really don't want to say this, but it's us against Playfusion, where we're trying to get information and they're hiding information, or they're not telling us information. I shouldn't say hiding, because they're not really hiding. It is feeling like they're ghosting us several times. And because of it, we're getting upset. But yeah, that was another one of his great concerns. He also said that he talked to a lot of LGSs. He talked to a lot of people, and the phrase nail in the coffin has come up several times. I know for a fact that I have heard it from some LGSs in my area and just some other people on Discord, that without a set coming out on a regular basis, like a lot of other card games that are at least doing decently, it's really hard to say that they want to promote the product or continue the product if it's been almost a year before we get a new set, right? That's not a good sign. Even back in January when we thought we were getting it then, it's like, wow, it's a really long time to wait for a card game. Is this still doing okay? And then they put out a second delay, and everyone's like, oh, this is not looking good for us. But we're loyal. We stayed here through the good and the bad. We're all here for it. We're just all concerned. We're all concerned, and for the right reasons to be concerned. We hope it's not digital. Not digital. We hope it's not the nail in the coffin. We hope, beyond all hope, that it's nothing like that. I think Lurker also said, voice, which I may have missed before, is the physical dying and they're going straight to digital with the promotion on iOS, on Android, on Steam, on Nintendo, on all this stuff for digital, and they're coming out with digital campaigns and all this other stuff that you can't do physically. What does that say for the physical card game? Are we going to see Lightseekers kind of dip down in physical play and be more of a digital card game along with a lot of other medias? I mean, that has its ups and downs as well. A lot of card games, Magic the Gathering has definitely started doing a lot of its tournaments in the digital arena now that the Arena app works really well. Hearthstone has always been a digital card game. Eternal is a digital card game that I've recently started playing. There's a lot of digital card games out there because the digital preface for Twitch and media and YouTube and all this stuff is where a lot of the content is brought up. And I think some of the only physical card games that are still making it through are Magic the Gathering, that's been out for 25 plus years, is Yu-Gi-Oh! That's been out for Lord knows how long. Cowboy Hat Valor wants a oh, what's the word, the typer in a courtroom to just start all my words. But yeah, it's like that kind of thing, that a lot of this is becoming more digital. They're making a lot more digital content. They're going on a lot more digital venues. What does that mean for the physical game? What does that mean for us that have collected cards, that have been saving up money for digital packs? The fact that it's coming out digital early May, but then 2 months before the physical comes out, it kind of hurt me too, because I've been saving up money for physical packs so I could stream it live, get as much of the cards as possible, shard whatever I don't have, and now it's going to go live digitally 2 months before I can buy physical packs. And to that, it's like, yeah, it's, good to get the draft mode in there, get the adventure mode in there with digital stuff, and to kind of help it make so the ranked ladder system is, completely different with the rotation as well. But are people really going to spend money on cards twice? Are they going to spend all their gold and all their shards on cards that they are eventually just going to buy boxes of to then scan it in and not get the gold refunded, get a 5 to 10 to 20% reshard value on other cards? Like, that's kind of another thing that does have me concerned, is the fact that digital is coming out sooner and then physical is coming out 2 months later. Almost like you said, 11 months. One more month and it'd be a full year. That's really, really kind of disconcerting for me, from a person who has been saving up money for the physical box to scan those cards into the game that I want to stream, to then know, like, hey, if you want to stream and still have all the cards, you're going to have to buy them digitally. You're going to have to save up these packs that we're going to do and all this other stuff, because you're not going to have them digitally for 2 full months while they've been out digitally. So as a streamer standpoint, or as a content creator standpoint on the app, that really was like, how am I supposed to make content and promote the new stream when my plan for getting all the cards to do this stuff is now on hold for 2 months, while other people are playing with the cards that I personally don't want to spend gold and shards on when I'm going to physically buy them and scan them in. Like, I want to save my stuff for, like, if there's a mat that comes out or anything like that I want to buy for accessories or cosmetics. Like, that kind of hurt me as well as just a digital creator, is like, dude, now I got to wait 2 months if I want to physically buy this pack, because I don't want to spend all my shards and have all my shards go to waste, and then it'd be like, yeah, there's something cool that they come out with, a holiday thing that you can get for shards or something like that. Or if later down the line, like, yeah, we'll allow you to get foil cards with shards, and it's like, well, I'd much rather spend my shards on foils than the cards that I get 2 months later in the boxes that I'm going to open, just because I want to play the game digitally for 2 months. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to draft for those 2 months, knowing that I don't have to get the cards for ranked mode and then just buy the boxes. Like, that might just be what I have to do. Because if the story mode, the solo campaign mode, is the same as Warhammer, you literally get to use your entire card collection. It's not like you get a deck and it slowly evolves over time, anything like that. It's you build a deck and you go and do these adventures, which is awesome. I like that. But the fact that, like, I probably won't even touch that until I get the Uprising cards, so that I don't have to spend my golden shards on cards that I'm generally going to buy twice. Like, I will draft for 2 months and wait for the boxes to come out and wait for them. Like, that's my plan right now. I'm buying boxes and I will draft for 2 months before I even step on ranked mode. Like, I don't want to buy cards twice. I mean, I'll open packs and stuff like that. Sure, I'll do whatever I get, and whatever I get, maybe I get enough within the time to make something fun. But I don't want to buy cards twice. If draft works like Hearthstone Arena, I may never play Constructed ever again. Final Ross Battle, I mean, I played draft in Warhammer and I had a blast. And I probably won't play Constructed in Warhammer unless, like, a new set comes out and I can test new deck theories. But I am a heavy drafter. I would love to draft more in Warhammer. And I already voiced my concern in Warhammer that the fact that their currency reward in Warhammer is one of the only one of the three that you can't then reuse to buy other draft tickets. Like, they give you souls and you can either spend gold or gems on draft tickets. So you can't even, like in Hearthstone, win gold at a higher rate and then use that gold to go back into draft. And, like, if you do well in draft, you can just keep drafting. Like, all you get is gold in the game. That's how you play the game, free to play. That's kind of that was my huge concern when draft mode came out, and I voiced that on my stream as well. Incentive perform, do well in draft, and you can play the game a lot easier free to play. And it's like, no, you'll get shards. Okay, but then how do I get back into draft mode? Oh, you got to play ranked to get the gold to then go back into. I'm like, really? Like, the whole point of me drafting was so I didn't have to do ranked or casual or any of that stuff. So it was kind of disconcerting, and I voiced that, and I hope they fix it in Lightseekers. But the last thing that I marked on here is for Testament, is he said a lot of the content creators, me included, they're not even streaming Lightseekers anymore. Like, you look at, I think Testament is playing, or not Testament, Tetradamus is playing Paladins, I think is what I saw on his stream lately. He's been playing Paladins. I know Filthy Phil and I know Fresh Gen have all been doing Lightseekers. They've been playing ranked. They've been doing all that stuff, which is awesome for them. Thank you guys. You've been doing a great service to keep this game growing in the community. Because if you look at the Twitch followers, we have been stuck around 500 for a few months. Not a lot of people have been excited about it to then follow Lightseekers on Twitch. And you look at the Warhammer numbers, and of course the Warhammer community, they have another like company backing Warhammer, because Warhammer is a very populated IP name that they've been able to promote and get paid streamers to stream their game that have a larger audience to build that game up. So that's something that they've done too. Yeah, just ranked as stale AF. Yeah, I mean, that's very true. If you're not playing Mill or you're not playing High Curate Arwen, you either make your own amazing deck like Frustra did with Lugnut, or you don't play. But yeah, those are some amazing concerns to have. Is just the fact that the digital content creators, I'm talking about Lightseekers every day. I'm promoting the new cards that come out, but then I'll go play Warhammer because I have more fun playing Warhammer than Lightseekers right now. I've run that well dry as much as I can. I'm sitting here constantly trying to think of new ideas to do, but it's just like, I mean, there's nothing more I can really do other than play like some tournament winning decks. And even right now in physical tournament winning decks, the last one that just won was Nuans or Dark Catchers, Tempest Aggro. And we all know what Tempest Aggro is. There's no reason to highlight that deck unless it's like a brand new thing that no one's ever done with Tempest before. But Tempest Aggro will always be Tempest Aggro, right? Like, it's that kind of stuff that's like, well, I mean, that's, yeah, it's like if a Magrock went and won a tournament, we've seen Magrock a million times. There's no need to do a highlight of it. You just downloaded MTG Arena. Yeah, MTG Arena is a lot of fun. I've played it. I had some fun with it. It's really nice to do free to play on that game as well. If you do draft and you actually get to keep the cards, so that's really cool too. A lot of games out there are having ways to do free to play. And if you want cosmetics, you pay for the cosmetics. That's fine. But every game like this should have a way to free to play. I have yet to jump into ranked mode. I was thinking of trying placement with my Chimchu deck, but been so busy. Chimchu, I mean, if you could pull off an OTK against some Miller Fatigue install, Cassilia, go for it. I think right now a lot of the people that are playing those types of decks are up in like Platinum. So if you're just starting out this late in the season, I think you should be fine to be able to play like the Silver ranked like I do and not run into too many of those people. But once again, it all depends on like what time of the day you're playing, because you could be playing at like 8 at night and there's only 5 people on, so you're matching against people who are in Platinum that are playing Fatigue. It's the ranked player base has also dwindled drastically because it's been so stale. So the matchups that people are finding is like, yeah, I'm in Silver, but I just went against someone who's in Platinum. Why? Like, why am I going against someone in that level? And it's because there's probably like 2 people on Silver, maybe 3 people on Silver playing, and the other 2 are already in a match. So you got to find someone else or wait 25 minutes. Like, it's just that. That those are a lot of concerns to be having. And I think Testament and Lurker 300 put out some amazing concerns on it as well. And I, once again, hope you go to Lurker's stream tonight when I host him and listen to him talk about further of his concerns. Like I said, he had 15 questions he emailed Playfusion about, and I hope he addresses them on his stream, and I hope we all get to talk about them. I think it's going to be great. But yeah, on mine, I mean, some of mine are, once again, like I tried not to repeat, so there's not a whole lot here. I've already touched on the vague excuses. They're very open-ended excuses about stuff where they need to do a better job at communication. They need to do a better job at staying on top of it. They need to do a better job on not just like ghosting us, but giving us the why as to like an answer to the question, but why that's the answer, right? Like that's the one fundamental thing that they need to keep doing is when giving us answers, they need to give us the why that's the answer. And not just like, this is the answer. Like it's simple. It's like, why is 2 + 2 4? Well, it's simple. It is. It's 4. Like, that's how we feel. But it's like, well, why is it 4? Oh, it's because if you take 2 and you put 2 and 2 together, like you can clearly see they added to 4. Like that's just a thing I came up with in 30 seconds. It's complete. It's true. But I couldn't do a diagram in 30 seconds. Something like that. Just like give us the why as to what you're telling us is true. And now that it's been 4 or 5 months, I think we deserve an answer on the distribution question. Like, why it took so long for distribution for you guys to decide just to do it yourself. Like, what was the reasoning? Good or bad, what was the reasoning? I do think that we deserve to know. We waited this long, and we still don't have an answer to that question. That's one that I'm really kind of like, I need to know. We've been asking, and all this other stuff. I know that they're finally, like, they have set dates in mind. That I would love to find out, like, the step-in-step process. Now that it's locked in, go back to us and be like, hey, guys, this is the whole situation. Like, I would literally love it if on a Friday afternoon, sometime that works both for US and UK, if Benny, the community managers, Chris, everyone, like the higher ups, did like a 2 to 3 hour AMA. Just came online, said, hey, this is the time. Ask us anything. If we are able to answer, we will answer it straight for you. If not, we will at least tell you, be like, well, we can't discuss that yet. That's in the works, or there's an NDA preventing that. But we need to, I think we almost deserve at this point a few hours of the higher devs time when they're not under crunch mode, and now everything's set in stone, right? This is the release date. We're doing our own stuff like that. They need to give us like an AMA for us to ask them questions directly, rather than trying to go through the community manager, wait for the community manager, wait to get back on site, for them to have a free time, email them, get the emails back, then for them to come back to us. Like there's a whole chain of command that we're going through with a lot of our concerns, and it's getting lost in the pipeline. I think we need a direct access for just a few hours. Just to say, hey, this is what we want to ask you. No, put Jade on stream. Jade can be there to ask them the questions. Jade can be like, hey, beforehand, write all your questions. We'll print them out. She'll be the one to ask them the questions. Like that could be just what you want to do. But I would much rather have it come from the higher ups, because if we ask the community person and we ask them a question that they don't know, a lot of times they're just gonna be like, I'd have to ask Benny about that, or I'd have to ask Chris or someone else. Like I would much rather have someone who I know for a fact can either answer it truthfully or know 100% that it is under an NDA. They can't disclose that information. The last answer I want to hear, and once again, this is not trying to come off negative, because I'm sure Jade and Lee can do an amazing job if they did an AMA, but the last thing I want to hear is I don't know. That's the last answer I want to hear is I don't know, because that is something that tells me that there's a communication issue with the community managers and the higher ups, that they can't tell us because they don't know if it's under an NDA. They don't know where it stands in the pipeline. They don't know. And I really don't want to hear on an AMA, I don't know. Like, why don't you know? Can you give us that? Why don't you know? And just go, I just don't know. Like, it's just, after all this time, I don't want to be ghosted live. Like, after being ghosted on Discord and all that stuff, I don't want to be ghosted live. That's all I'm saying. Steve from Playfusion, the North American marketing manager, and this is all good to hear. Good to know. That's awesome. Like I said, Dell's said it before, and I don't know if you what time you came in, Steve. Or I know you've followed me on Twitter as well. I don't know what time you came in, but Dell's gave us a really good answer that I think we deserve to hear, is that the fact that it was a major Benny the whole time. Okay, never mind. I won't repeat myself. But yeah, I do feel like we need some of this stuff. And where is it? Yeah, we need. So I put down some possible answers. That we do need, possibly, if things are getting bogged down and the two people there are getting, maybe, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but they're working on Warhammer, they're working on Lightseekers. There's a lot of communication with the Discord, with everyone, US, UK, both, trying to go through two people with all these concerns. Maybe someone else needs to join the team and help them lighten the load a little bit. Maybe they need to find a way to be more efficient answering these questions, making sure things don't get lost in the pipeline. I know a big reasoning has also been, from what just people have told me, I think the people at Delivery Crab, is Cassilia as a follower. Hey, welcome. I don't think I've had a follower after them being subbed. That's pretty cool. The UK EU time zones are also an issue. I mean, yeah, it really is. And like I said that before, I wish we had a community manager over here in the US that could handle some of the stuff when the UK's off the clock or whatnot. So I think that would be a great idea to have two people on the US community managing side that can get answers from Playfusion. But I know a lot of them will still have to go through, Benny and Chris and the higher ups before we can give you anything. But at least, like, just do a data dump. Be like, hey, this is all behind NDAs. Anything else is free to tell, is free to answer, whatnot. Just NDAs, just tell them, hey, it's behind an NDA. And give them a reason why it's behind an NDA, that we're working on it, just something like that. But just don't ghost us. I don't want any more ghosting. That's what I don't want. So that was a thing. This maybe hire a third person or find a better system for the community managers to relay a lot of this information to us, because I know that they work 9 to 5 and then they have a life afterwards. I'm not expecting them to do this 24/7. The other thing is on their news posts, A lot of this came up today, and Lurker legitimately read word for word the news post and told us what he didn't like about it. And that's because a lot of it was pretty vague. I do think that in the news posts, they need to start answering things with why this is the answer. Because, once again, more information is only going to be better for the community. The more information we know, the more we can, or the less we can speculate, and therefore, like, be more knowledgeable and hopefully use that knowledge to grow the community rather than just be like, yeah, I mean, I can't really answer that question right now. They haven't told us yet. And that's a red flag for a lot of people. It's like, well, if they're not telling the community, then what do we know? Yeah. I mean, if it's boring, that's fine. At least we'll know it's boring. That's all I'm saying. I would also like it, and this is just my opinion as well, for like another slight answer, is if the community managers, I know for a lot of the times they are they're really like bogged down with a lot of these reveal stuff, right? They're revealing stuff. They just revealed today that the Easter campaign came out, and I posted on Discord. I was like, hey, does anyone know the Easter campaign came out? Because like I didn't hear a thing about it, and it turns out they posted it to like Facebook, and I think Twitter even had it like 2 hours prior to me asking the question, but they missed the Discord news, and they didn't post it on Discord until like an hour after I said something. So I do think that they need to figure out all the social media stuff they have, everything where all their viewers, all their community is on, so when they post news, they don't miss anything. Because I know there are some people that only look at the Facebook page. I know there are some people that don't even have Facebook that only look at Discord. And if they post things like they did, one of them was just, they started posting on Reddit. And like, yeah, we started doing things on Reddit. And there's not a lot of people that were on Reddit. And we're like, well, can you post it on Discord as well? And like, we had to ask them to do that. And just as a community manager, or as a community person, if you want your news to be out there, don't just post it on like a fifth of your resources, hoping that other people will then share it. I do think they need to make a list of all the stuff where all this stuff needs to be posted, and when they post it everywhere simultaneously. Just because I was like, did you know there's an Easter event? Like I logged into the app just to see like what my quest was and whatnot, and it's like, hey, welcome to the excellent hunt, and I'm just like, what? I didn't see Discord was any news like this, and then it's like, yeah, there is, and I'm like, when were they gonna post this here? It's really weird. Like I think they need to relook into all the tools they have at their resources and make sure they're even using it properly. Like I just said today, it wasn't even on my list. Steven is a new member of the staff, and I do feel like that should have been in the news tab rather than just posted it in general, because if it's in general, the only people that know Steven is now a member of the crew is the people that looked in general chat right then. It is now lost in the dialogue. And I do think that should have been a newsworthy post, that we added a new member of the team, so people who want or need to talk to Steven know that Steven's a member of the team. Because right now I don't remember what his job title was. I don't remember what they hired him for. I want to say it was like media specialist or something to do with like media content. I thought I vaguely remember he was doing like videos for them. Now that I'm remembering. But that would have been amazing for streamers like us to know that in the news headline, to be like, hey, this guy edits videos. So that way, like if he reaches out to us in any way, like an email, like, hey, I saw your content. Can you send me this clip or whatnot? And we can be like, yeah, sure. Who are you? As opposed to like, hey, I'm Steven. This is in the news post. I'm the new video editor. So us as streamers, us as people who are a part of the community and do this stuff, know who we're talking to. Because I don't think there's on Discord or on the Facebook, I don't think there's any like, this person has this title under it that we can look and be like, oh, okay, so he does this. Is this the person I want to reach out to? Obviously, Lee and Jade and all the people on the community team are the number one people. But if we have like direct concerns for like just media content, maybe we'll talk to Steven. Stuff like that. Steve, yeah, he's the American marketing, which I know some people that are doing stuff, they'll reach out to him, but I don't think he's publicized as that anywhere. Like I said, I went to the Playfusion website today to figure out how many people were working there in some of the job titles. There's nothing. There's nothing that says this is the lead marketer. This is the guy who does anything. There's no bios on any of the top people that work there. So I do think that that needs to be reworked. Also, I will make a slight comment on this. The Playfusion website, the photos of them are all like hiking and doing tough mutters, and I'm like, is this a site for gaming, or is this a site for like a company that helps with traveling? Like I didn't know that from the photos. I had to read it to be like, yeah, we 150 plus IPs. We do 300,000, like all this stuff for gaming, and we revolutionized with the digital scanning thing and all that stuff like that. Where like I didn't know it until I legitimately read it, because all the other photos were of them hiking or whitewater rafting and all this stuff outside of work, and I'm like, okay, so is this a travel company that does video games? Like there was even one on the like what games we do, and the top photo of it was a little kid working on a CGI robot with a wrench. And I'm like, do they do robotics? What's going on over there? And I don't know if that website just needs to be updated, because a lot of people out of the news goes through the Lightseekers webpage or the Warhammer webpage. That's where people usually go. But when I just want to look at Playfusion and see what they're doing, yeah, I went directly there to find some information, and it was just like, this doesn't make any sense. So much so I kind of want to just bring it up. I kind of just want to bring it up. Where is? Yeah, here's my list of things I wanted to talk about. Is all right here. I want to bring this up. I want to show people. Is it just playfusion.com? I think it is. It's just like this is their website, and I don't know if it's like gaming, but like this to me, like you're in a retail store and the first thing comes up on their homepage. Yeah, we all know the scanning, but they're a gaming company, right? Like they make Warhammer, they make Playfusion. You go into their projects. And their projects are Warhammer and Lightseekers. But their homepage is in a retail store telling you can get 50% off this hat. Now, I don't know if that's just because this site has not been used in forever, and they've deterred away from that to go off to their own thing. But I do feel like this should be like their main website should be something that. They also do a lot of ARG tech. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's fine. But creative artificial intelligence, robotics to pioneer the future in mixed reality. That's awesome. But I do feel like a lot of people know you guys as a gaming company, and as your homepage going into a retail store telling me I can get 50% off these pair of shoes really doesn't sell gaming company to me that is doing what you said, artificial intelligence and robotics and stuff like that. I'll go to the team page. We have toy robots. Then we have people doing Tough Mudder, hiking. And I'm like, yeah, this is awesome for the team. But it doesn't show a single page of them actually at the company. Click on the projects. Here's the products page. Team building. No, exactly. I'm all for that. But I mean, that's fine to have a few of those in there, but then show them actually working. Show them actually at like computer desk to buy first images that they do work in a computer environment. Team building, all for it. I'm all for that. I think that's great. I know I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Twitter and stuff like that, but it's like, are you a physical fitness? Do you do travel? Like that's what I got just from first appearances. And images are right now very key in first appearances, because you look at the images before you read the dialogue. Yeah. I mean, like I said, this site is probably not as used. A lot of your news goes through the Lightseekers page and the Warhammer page. So the Playfusion site probably hasn't been updated in a while and stuff like that. And then we'll go to press. I mean, there's a lot of news here, which it looks like is still being used. April 3rd. You guys got that down like a week, 2 weeks ago. So it looks like this page is still being used. And then we go to jobs, and there's a boy working on a robot. And I immediately go, this is for the robotics. But then we're looking for software engineers, gaming engineers, visual. It's just, it's a feed. I mean, all I'm saying is like, I'm just like, right now I'm just kind of making small critiques. This is nothing of like, this is terrible. It's nothing like that. I'm just like, I'm making it. I'm like, I got really confused going to their website, looking for information on how many people are on the team, and all of a sudden I got kind of those images, and I was like, what? Like, that's all I'm saying is I I do think that the images, it's fine. Team building images, all for it. All for that. But do show us some images of you guys actually at the company or like in a work environment. Because if all of that was just team building exercises, it immediately led me to like, oh, it's a travel company or it's a company that does team building exercises with resorts. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I do think I covered a majority of what I wanted to do. It's not just one office either. I mean, yeah, from what I understand, there's the big one in Cambridge. I'm not entirely sure how many offices. Cambridge, Derby, New York, and San Francisco. Oh, okay. Okay. So there is offices in the U.S. Do those offices, are they looking for community managers? Are they looking for people to, like, I'm sure those offices are like resources for where the marketing team kind of helps in the U.S. and all that stuff. And I don't know if the coders or the programmers or the artists or whatnot can work in those environments and then just ship it all off to the UK digitally through emails. But yeah, Cassilia just says she didn't even know they had those places. And I hate to keep going on a repeat, but once again, I think that just goes with the lack of information. Is it correct me if I'm wrong, maybe that actually information is up somewhere on like the Lightseekers page or something like that to tell us like, hey, these are our locations, all this stuff for all that stuff. The Playfusion prize check came from the New York office. Okay, awesome. But yeah, it's just like there's just a lot of things that we don't know. You think it was mentioned somewhere on the Playfusion site? Okay. Like I said, I went through it looking for a specific thing. I didn't really peruse the entire site. That's why I commented on the image and then had to read the paragraphs to make sure I wasn't losing my mind. But if it's on there, then it's on there. You guys have the information. No harm, no foul. But yeah, it's just things like that apparently a lot of us didn't even know there was. I know there were twos in the UK. I had no idea that you guys actually had two out here in the US as well. Because like I said, I was like, you guys need community managers here in the US, and it turns out you have two offices here. So maybe it's not so difficult to get community managers in a US office. I don't know. But yeah, those are the things that I would like to see at least addressed is the toy development was done in San Francisco, and then New York is the head of the office. Okay, that makes sense. New York is a fairly big place for that, so that makes total sense. Did you guys know that Nuwan actually lives in New York? You guys know that now. Just saying. I don't know where in New York. I just know he lives in New York. New York is a huge state and city. But yeah, those are the things that I would love to see addressed. Is a lot better communication. Just in the not just giving us the answers, but why that's the answer. I think that will go a long way with us not having vague statements, us not then coming to assumptions or having all these thoughts in our head, be like, well, that's the answer, but having us guess why that answer is will help a long way. I do feel like when news does come out, we need to know on every single platform. So no one misses it. No one is asking, why is this? Did anyone hear about this? And then like, oh, sorry, I forgot to post it there. Like they need to come up with a much more established system to post and to share all the information they need. I think that is going to be key for them as well. Yeah, the AMAs, I think that would be great. I honestly do think an AMA for like 2 to 3 hours on try and find, I mean, if you can only do one with those guys, try and find it on a time where the US and the UK are just like both available, so it's not like, yeah, we're doing it UK like 4 PM and everyone in the US is like, it's like 10 and we're all at work. Like try and make it so it's at least a decent time, or maybe have it on a weekend. See if they'll do it on a weekend when everyone's off, or not everyone, but a majority of people are off work and can participate. And it's yeah, that'd be great. But I mean that would go a long way. Having digital media promoting you guys would go a long way, as opposed to just typing in Discord, sending out those newsletters on the website, but being almost face to face with a video would go a long way. Rather than them typing something up, because if they type something up and then we read it, then we have a lot more questions on the reading. That I do think, like, even if the community managers like have an hour or so and they're down, just pop on like a live chat, like pop on Twitch. Twitch is easy to do. Pop on Twitch and be like, hey guys, here's some news that we're doing. Like when you give big news, go live. Go live. Go on Twitch. Have Jade and Lee both go live on the Lightseekers Twitch channel. Like, hey guys, we're going live in an hour to promote this new news. This is what's going to happen. And then if people do have questions, they can tune in and then ask the questions there. Rather than post it and then hope that our questions are being heard in Discord or on Facebook, and we hope that we get answers. Just answer them right on the spot. Give out big news like that. Because, like I said, I literally just was like, I saw those live streams too, and then they kind of disappeared. And I know Jacob was streaming Warhammer for a while, and then he went on vacation. I haven't seen it a whole lot since. But yeah, today, I mean, like I said, one of my first concerns was the fact it's like, we don't want everything all at once. We want it kind of sprinkled in so we have consistent value and we're not in a stagnant. And Dells was very kind enough to answer, like, the reason we did that is because everything has to be approved through Nintendo, so that's why we did that. And none of us knew that. None of us knew that was the reason. And until that was answered, we are like, why are we getting all this at once? Or at least I was. And then Dell said that, and I was like, okay, I have an answer to my question. I am satisfied. Or I have more questions. It's one of those things, like, we really wish we could talk live with people rather than voicing all these concerns and then waiting for the community manager to type a response to us. I do think live videos, like, once or twice a week would be awesome. I think that's great. Yeah, it's just, I mean, for right now, what I'm going to say, that info, please, someone, even if it's someone from Playfusion, Steve, if it's you, awesome. If it's someone higher up, someone put that in Discord, whether it's in the news or the general section, post that news, or even just somehow tack it on to the newsletter that came out before and mention that's like, there's an update, because I can guarantee you adding that piece of information will answer a lot of people's questions on that, is if we all knew right now. Because answering that on my stream is great, but that all means that people literally have to watch my stream to know the answer. And instead of answering it 50 million times, please someone post that publicly so that we know. Because that is a big concern that I've had, and I know a lot of other people had, is why we're getting all of this at once. Why couldn't we just get the draft 2 months ago and then all that stuff easier? So I think that would go a long way with someone just answering that question. I think that would go a long way. I talked for a lot. So with that being said, I want to talk with you guys, because I voiced my concerns. I gave a shout out to Testament. I gave a shout out to Lurker. They put out amazing videos. I feel like I asked a lot of their questions and made a lot of statements and agreed with everything they said. And once again, I will reiterate, I do apologize if I come off as a glass half full type of person. That is not me trying to be backed by Playfusion at all in what any way, shape, or form. That is just my personality. Like I said before, I do have a history of depression. It's a long going thing, and me being a glass kind of half full type of person has just been my base state of a person, to always be cheery, because once I start thinking about negative stuff, it tends to be a spiral, and I really don't want to go back that way. So I do hope that is at least an information that you guys can know, to be like, hey, are you being backed by Playfusion? Like, is there a reason? And it's just, no, it's who I am. And right now, when I've been doing these card reveals, when I've been talking about stuff, I will hype it up. I will hype it up, and I will say, hey guys, let's talk about how we use these cards. If only for the fact that I don't want to look at a card and say that it's bad until the entire set comes out. Because I don't think that is a fair reasoning for this stuff. Because we could say 2 weeks ago that, like, oh, this card is never going to see play, it's not that good. And then 2 weeks, and we get a reveal for an amazing card that syncs up really well with it. And we're like, okay, maybe this card's really good. That's the reason why I'm doing it too, is why I'm only saying positive things about these cards and trying to avoid negative stuff, is because I don't want to say something negative about a card and then have, like, the entire set come out and then once, like, have to constantly contradict myself by changing my opinions. So right now I'm just being like, yeah, I would use the card this way, I would do this that way. And and all this stuff to just, it is hype season. We are trying to be positive, and it's okay if people don't want to like the card. That's fine too. I mean, that's fine. I'm just telling me this is why I'm doing it the way I am, is because once the entire set comes out, I am going to go through every card. I'm going to talk about every card, and I'm going to give my 100% honest opinion after the whole set comes out, after I get to look at them and kind of build up some synergies of which cards I think, hey, this is going to make an impact. This one probably won't see play, yada, yada, yada. I'll give my 5-star review ratings on the cards once we have the whole set. But until then, the only thing I'm going to focus on is how these cards are going to be played and how I would think about playing them and try to get other people to be like, yeah, I would play them like this and like that. Not whether or not I would play it or I wouldn't play it. I want to avoid that topic of discussion because that's just a would you, yes or no, rather than, well, how would you, kind of get that discussion going. So once again, that is just, it's my opinion, it's my voice. People can agree with it, people can disagree with it. You're more than welcome to it as well. It's your voice, your opinion. I just wanted to let you guys know that, give you the why to, that's why I'm doing it. Too much try-harding. I mean, it can come off that way, I'll admit. But that's just my personality. You can meet me in person. I'm this way too. I'm this lively and bubbly. So, some people like fun and casual. Others like more competitive. We try to do both at our shop. That's awesome to hear, Casilia. That's awesome to hear. I don't think a shop should be like, no, we're diehard competitors. I do think that's how my scene actually died down. Is because me and my friends, we started playing and we started building really, really competitive decks to try and outbeat each other. And the people that came into play, I was always like, yeah, here's a starter deck. We'll play some starter decks. And then they came into the tournament and all of my friends were like, yeah, I built this deck to do 26 damage in a turn or to lock you out and I'll win this way. And it's like, I didn't spend more than $50 in the game yet. And I come to my local game store and people are that competitive already. It's not a good incentive to spend more money on a game that I'm instantly losing to something that's dolo aggro. That just doesn't make me feel good, and I can understand why people don't want to join the game then. So Alpha Card 2, don't worry about it. People have called me much worse. You are completely fine in saying whatever you want to say, man. I'm here for you to talk to talk at, to say whatever you want. I mostly take a lot of things with a grain of salt, so but yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that that's one of the reasons why at least my local game store kind of stopped doing that, is because the community couldn't grow because the people that started it were very competitive and it kind of was a turnoff for people who were trying to learn the game. And I did try to help. And then afterwards I started going the more digital route with Twitch, seeing that I could spread my voice a lot. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I decided to go Twitch, promote that way, do what I can at the local game store. But then the scene really just died down, and we weren't having it anymore. It's sad to say. It's kind of sad to say that out of all of my friends when we started playing, I am the only one who still has their cards, still plays the game. It was kind of sad to see that all my friends sold their entire collections. They're like, well, the local game store just kind of died. People are playing more digitally. We don't need them anymore. And I was like, I mean, I can't blame you, but it's heartbreaking to know that all my friends that got me into this game are now like, yeah, we're just not playing it anymore. And I was like, that's fair. That's fine. So, exactly right, Casilia. Let them win. Let them know that they're doing amazing. Get that dopamine effect on them. No, I mean, the trick is to make them feel like they earned the win and not that you just gave it to them. That's the real trick. But yeah, guys. I wanted to give my own opinion on that. I wanted to share the opinions of others on my channel. I know. I'm trying to think of all the people that do stream. There's Freston, there's Filthy Phil, there's Testament Makes YouTube videos, Lurker 300 is going to be streaming tonight, Tetradamus, Red Flash, Loliet. I think I hope that's his full name. I'm probably missing something. I feel like I'm missing part of his name, but Loliet's a streamer too. I know both the Bovas stream, Bovasaur 001 and Lifesaver. They both stream. Please go promote the other streamers. Do what you can for them as well. Yes, I did. Rocket said that was one of the first things that I tried to touch Lurkers first, and then Testaments, and then mine. So Lurkers was at the beginning of this video, where he did make a great point. And I'll go ahead and reiterate because I don't know if a lot of people were here for that. That his point of view on that was what they do for a lot of card games, just in general, was they put out the new set so Uprising would be the new set. Then like 3 months later they put out the core box, be like, hey, these cards are reprinted. You can reuse them again. Some of them are new. We got some new cards. The core set comes out. Then you get kind of like a nice little expansion with the Rift Pack, right? Sorry, I drank too much water. I got the little burps. That the Rift Pack would come out like 2-3 months later to have a nice little divide of consistency where your cards will come out, reshape the game in some sort of way, and then they'll reshape the game a little bit later. And his concern with you put it all in one, if you put it all in one, that better mean that in 3-4 months down the road, you do still have a set to follow it up with. And you didn't just blow all your content because you were running behind to put it all into one box, and now you have nothing to continue on with, and we don't want another set to come out with another delay. That is the last thing this game needs right now. Yes, we got a bunch of cards, and I already gave my kind of positive outlook on that. It's like, oh, it'll be better for draft. But there's a lot of negative things about it too that need to be voiced. And that's the fact that like we don't know if they have another set in the wings and they're doing their own distribution, so it's actually all good to go. Right now, we are in the I don't know area because they put it all into one set. And then after those 3 sets, which is now 1, comes out, if they are going to delay on us again, it's going to start the cycle all over again. And most likely, a lot of people are not going to want to continue if it's going to be like, yeah, I mean, we're giving you 3 sets in 1, but it's going to be another 6 months to a year before that set comes out. And we're just like, no, I can't wait that long. This was... like, it took all my energy to wait 11 months for the game to come out now. I don't want to have to wait another 11 months. That's not a good investment for me. Especially as a content creator. That just hurts too. They made so many mistakes in a short life. I mean, we don't know if it was them making mistakes or if it was complication issues at the company. They said the delays were mostly distribution issues. But like I said, They finally found an answer to the distribution issues, but they have yet to address that initial concern we all had as to what was the issue. They have yet to tell us what that issue was. They told us they solved it, but they didn't tell us what the issue was. Did they totally drop distribution also in Europe? I don't know. Once again, that's an answer that I hate giving out too, is that I don't know. These are all great questions to be had on an AMA. Just putting that out there again. And I think an AMA would be a really good thing for them to do. Whether it be tomorrow or whether they need time to set it up and say, hey, this Friday or Saturday, we're going live at this time at an AMA with such and such people. If you have questions, tune in then. We'll answer them as best we can with the knowledge that we have. I'm just saying right now, the one thing I don't want to hear is, I don't know. Like, that is not an excuse that can fly. For me, I don't think anyone else is going to allow it to fly. That is not an excuse that should fly on an AMA if you can get higher ups in the company, is I don't know. If there's 2 months delay, then it's not distribution, then it's printing. Could have been. From what I thought I heard, I thought they said they had all the cards printed. They just couldn't find someone to do the shipping, which is what we all assumed was the distribution. Maybe I heard that wrong. Maybe I heard it from some other source that was like third party, heard from a. But yeah, this is stuff that we need directly from Playfusion as answers, either in written or in video form, so that we can go back to and get 100% confirmation and data on these answers. Because otherwise everything is speculation and everyone's going to be like, well, I heard this. Well, I thought I read this and all that other stuff. That I do hope that with all of us literally voicing it today, Testament, Lurker, and myself, and anyone else that does it, I know Lurker's doing his own live thing as well, so he's doing it twice today, with everyone that is voicing their concerns, and I hope if they don't answer it by tomorrow, that more people will kind of voice their own concerns on stuff that we've either A, talked about, or B, that they have their own that we haven't addressed, that they will listen to this, they will put out an announcement, and we will at least get answers. That's all I can really hope for at this point, because that's what we want. We want answers. So what I'm hoping for is answers. That's all. So yes, guys. I'm gonna do a "You shall get them," Steve from Playfusion. I hope so, man. I don't want to be like, yes, finally, because I don't want to sound negative. I really don't want to get my hopes up and be like, yeah, he said we're getting answers, and then we don't get answers, and I'm just like, well, Steve from Playfusion said that we will, and I was like, but why? So that's all I'm saying is Steve. So that's that. I know I will be trying to be on my phone as much as possible. I work in a place with no Wi-Fi, and I'm like almost out of my data. I need to get an unlimited data plan if I want to keep doing this, because it's like I'm on my phone all the time, and I'm trying to stay up to date with you guys. So that's all we ask for, Steve, is that we are all kept in the loop as best as possible. AMA would be amazing. Like I said, live Twitch streams from the community managers I think will go a long way as well. Like even if it's just once a week, with news or updates on stuff like this, so then we can, for an hour, ask them questions when they're live. Just have it be a consistent thing too. Don't just be like, oh, we're going live at 2 today, and then the next morning it's like, oh, we're going live at 10 in the morning. Like, be a consistent time frame too, so that we can almost expect them to go live with news. Or even it's just like, hey, we don't have any news today, but is there any questions you want to ask us? Like, once a week, 1 hour with Lee and Jade, that will go a long way. Will go a long way with us as the community to be able to actually speak and get almost instantaneous responses. I think that'll go a long way. So you guys said you were taking notes. I hope you were. I hope you continue to take notes as other people talk and address these concerns that we're having, because it means the world to us that you are paying attention, that you are listening to us, and you are taking us into consideration, and not just being like, he's being really rude right now, because that's not what we're trying to do. We are simply trying to give constructive criticism, explaining our thoughts, our dislikes, and our opinions on this stuff. And I hope at least we're trying to give you some answers or some feedback onto how we can all come together and resolve these issues or work on it as well. So thank you very much. Yeah, do Friday games. And end the week on a high note. I think that'd be great. Give us a game where it's not stall. Highlight a game between like Benny and someone else. I also do think one thing you should also do is like before. I don't know if you can. I've just seen like other, like Magic the Gathering has done it and Hearthstone has done it. If you can, send out to some select streamers that have been doing content that you want to do, or even just people at Playfusion, and give them like an all access code to Uprising prior to the digital release, like maybe a weekend before or something like that, and say, hey guys, for like 8 hours or something like that, you have full access to all the cards. We want to see what you guys as creators, as digital content can do. Just have fun, build the cards in the digital set, and then like it just for 8 hours, then the access code is gone. Then like that Monday or whatever day you release the set, then the digital stuff goes live. But just so we can, Shibes gifted Steve from Playfusion a tier 1 sub. Thank you, man. Thank you. But yeah, just so like, because the physical cards don't come out at the same time, right? Because of the digital disconnect. That's another thing Lurker said. The digital disconnect. I want to catch that too. Is the fact that the digital game and the physical game, we were all expecting to line up as soon as Uprising comes out, and now it's not even going to do that anymore. Digital is still going to be distant for another 2 months when Uprising comes out. So it's like, we were expecting a reconnect of that, and now we have to wait longer for it. That was another concern he also addressed, and I don't want to forget about that one, because that was a big one too, is the fact that Uprising digitally is going to come out sooner, which again makes it even more difficult for people who want to use the app as a tool to build classic format decks for nationals. And now we can't do that for those months. Is Uprising comes out and the whole card pool that we would use is now gone. We have to literally find people down and track them down to say, hey, I want to test this out for classic. Can you help me with that? That's another thing that's like, we really need to focus on getting the physical and the digital to sync up sooner than later. If there is any more disconnect, we're all going to have another problem, because that is a huge thing. Yes, Welcome to the Storm Cloud, Steve. Welcome to the Thunderfin Army. Welcome to everyone. Shibes is just handing out those tier 1 subs like it's making it rain in this Storm Cloud here. But yeah, I think that is another huge thing, is that we cannot have a longer disconnect between physical and digital. I don't think Warhammer's ever had it. Warhammer's always been synced up properly. Lightseekers has been all in disarray for almost a year, and I really don't want another past uprising for it to almost ever happen again. I do understand that some digital radis have to come here and there. Hopefully not too drastic where the cards make no sense. But just like try and work on getting that consistency up. But then, yeah, like I was saying, it will be an awesome reveal tool because it's coming out digitally before physically. So like playing digitally, if you want to do it, you have to craft the cards and all that stuff for like 2 months before you actually buy the cards physically. At least that's what I'm going to do. Give a certain amount of streamers, give like, I don't know, 8 to 10 in even numbers so that we can like go into the mode and play one another. But like give them access to all the cards, give them access to the new IP before it even goes live, and be like, hey guys, for these 8 hours, you have this account, this like all God access account. We want to see what you come up with, just creative ideas, just deck building ideas, just what have you with all the cards. And then you can stream it and really get a hype promotion. They did it with Hearthstone, and I loved that fact. They brought 6 people actually into their office building and gave them all access codes and let them stream for like 12 hours. And they just played the game with all the new cards before they even went live like 5 days afterwards. I thought that was amazing for their promotion. That I do think that would be something really cool to do if you were able to do that for the streamers and the content creators and everyone like that, is to just give them like one day, 8 hours, be like, hey, build what you want, test the deck out, everyone can watch you and see what the new cards can do before they have to try and craft them or buy them with gold digitally before they even buy them physically. That's just my opinion. Whether you have plans of your own, cool. So it looks like people are leaving. Cecilia, have a good night. But that's just something that I saw another company do, and I thought it was great. I know Hearthstone has also done like review streams where the devs themselves have actually built like core decks for stuff like that, and they brought like either the community manager on. They did like a giant 6-hour stream where they just played those new decks to then highlight the new cards. They've done that as well. So there are a lot of things that have been done digitally that you guys can easily just do yourselves. And I do hope that somewhere down the road, I know like early May, like next month, we're getting this digitally. So I hope that there is still enough time to maybe consider something like that and do something, even if it's just the community managers doing like a 6-hour review stream with the developers built these preset decks to kind of be evenly balanced, and just we can watch both sides and we can just watch the new cards interact with each other before we actually have a chance to get them and buy them. That'll be a really cool reveal thing, I think. So that's another thought for marketing. All right, guys. All right. I hope we had I know I'm saying hope we had a good discussion. We had an amazing discussion today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for doing that. Do a $1 million event too. I mean, if we can get someone like the people who back Warhammer to do it, definitely. Yeah. As the Embers, I think that would be a great idea to just test, like, hey, this is what the devs came up with, these, not even like trying to break the game, but just a good theme of like a Dread discard is like a really good theme that's coming out. Build a Dread discard deck. Let us see how it works. Something like that. Just build decks like that with a theme so we can see how the devs thought the theme was going to work. And then let us break the game. Let us find the broken tier 1 decks on our own. But let the devs be like, hey, we made these cards to try and make these new, not formats, new, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I can't think of it. But archetypes, new deck archetypes. They made the card to kind of fill out these new deck archetypes. Let us see what the devs had in mind. They clearly built the cards to play off with each other. Let's see what they're doing. And then we can use that as a base template to come off of, or we can try something all on our own. I think that'll be good. I think that'll be really good for the community as a whole to see what you guys thought of the game, and then just let us watch you play it. Just let us watch you play it. That'll be great. That'll be great. All right. Well, guys, for everyone that stuck around the whole discussion, I I very much approve of you. I very much appreciate you. I think we had, like I said, a great discussion here. I think it was amazing. Thank you to Dells and Steve from Playfusion for stopping in and answering some questions right in the spot. That's amazing. I hope other streamers like me get that chance and privilege of having people who work for Playfusion to stop in and actually answer some questions on stream. I think that would go a long way as well, because I don't want it just to be like me. I don't want more people to be like, "Are you working with them?" No, I'm not. Everyone made YouTube videos. I was just lucky enough to be one of the first streamers to jump on. There are other streamers who I do hope will talk about this stuff. So please Playfusion, go towards them as well. Jump in their stream, listen to them, take notes, all that stuff. So you popped on. I will be hosting tonight, right after me at 9:30. I will be hosting Lurker 300 on his stream. So if you just stick around in the channel, I'm going right to him afterwards, and he's got more stuff to talk about. So please follow him. And Steam is updating. I was gonna just open Lightseekers to jump into the Excellent Hunt, but it's updating. So I guess we did cover a lot of stuff. Does anyone else have any concerns that I did not cover that either you don't have a chance to talk about on your own, or that you want to talk about here? Steve from Playfusion, go to that stream as well if you can. I highly encourage everyone to stick around for to do that. I know his stream is going to start in about an hour and a half to 2 hours, so I don't know what time that'll be for a lot of you guys, but I'm going to hopefully try and stay in for at least the first hour. It'll be like 10:30, 11 o'clock for me, but I do plan on sticking in and listening to his concerns, because he's got probably a better perspective on a lot of stuff than I do, and I really hope to hear his opinion on all that stuff as well. It's only fair. He stopped in with mine on his lunch break, for no less, on his phone. The least I can do is sit there and listen to him on my actual computer, right? Like, help him out. With any of that being said, I'm going to quickly give this screen for editing purposes.